Congratulations to the graduating class of National Cheng University. This is your day. On behalf of the parents, family, and friends of the graduates, we want to thank all of you and all of the professors, advisors, and support staff who have supported this community of graduates, because it truly takes a village for the students to reach the milestones they've reached today. Thank you for the honor of serving as the parent representative today. I'm speaking on behalf of all the parents, family, and friends here in person, and for those of you who could not attend but are here in spirit. We are all so proud of what you have accomplished. I'm the mother of Christy Haruka Ellis. She is what our family calls the Singapore surprise. When we moved to Singapore over 2 decades ago, we arrived with 2 children. Then, much to our surprise, along came Christy, a gift not only to her parents, but to her 3 sisters, Alexia, who is here today, Danny, who lives in Sweden, and Larita, who lives in the U.S., a grandmother, Obachan, who is now in heaven, her beloved nanny, Susan, who is here sitting next to her, and family and friends from around the world. Like Christy, each one of you is a gift to your parents, to your loved ones, and friends. And we are all here today to celebrate you. Please join me in a round of applause for the graduates here today. Today, I will keep my remarks brief and focused on 3 things that I hope will guide you as you go out to challenge the world. First, courage. And I'll start with a quote from The Man in the Arena by President Theodore Roosevelt. "It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out the strong man's stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcomings. But who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither knew victory nor defeat." What this really means is the real hero is a person who has the courage to actually step up and try, even if they mess up. Not the critic watching from the sidelines who never takes the risk themselves. You'll learn that life always has ups and downs. Don't be afraid to try hard things and step outside your comfort zone. It's okay to take risks, and most importantly, it's okay to fail and pick yourself back up again. Through failure, we learn, we grow, and we discover new things. My mother grew up during World War II in Amami Island in Kagoshima, Japan. Her family was very poor, and she never had the chance to complete high school or go to college. In her 20s, her brother told her about a job opening on a military base that required driving trucks. She applied. There was only one small problem. She didn't know how to drive, and she also didn't speak English. But somehow she was hired to work in the office, and my father, confident as ever, declared that he would teach her to drive. They were married for 45 years. He tried many times, and it never happened. My mother had the courage to apply for that job. Over the years, I've interviewed many candidates for various roles. And one question I always ask them is to tell me about a time you failed and how you handled it. The candidates who cannot think of a single instance where they failed, those are the ones we worry about. An inability to name a failure usually means someone has been too comfortable, not taking enough risk. I have a long list of my own failures, but today I'll only share one. When I was a young prosecutor, I proudly invited my mom to watch one of my closing arguments. I had practiced, I was ready, I was sure that I would impress her. When I asked her what she thought, she said, "It was okay." And then she handed me a tape recorder. She told me I could improve with much more practice. I was devastated, but that tape recorder became one of the most valuable tools I ever owned. I used it to prepare for trial after trial. It was one of the best lessons my mom ever taught me. I still have that tape recorder. I never told my mom how many times I listened to it and used it. As a parent, my suggestion to you is this: it's okay to fail, as long as you learn from it. If you want to know more about this idea, I recommend reading Mindset, The New Psychology of Success by Carol Dweck. I know recommending a book on graduation day is a bold move, but maybe you can read it in the next 6 months, or if you haven't read it already. Your master's degree today is evidence of what you already know and what you can already do in today's rapidly changing world, especially with the rise of artificial intelligence. Staying curious and embracing difficulty will matter more than any credential. You're not finished yet. You're just getting started. Stay lifelong learners with courage. Your degree is your ticket into the arena. Step in. Have the courage to be brave, try hard things, and do not be afraid to fail, because that is where the real learning begins. 2, be purposeful and enjoy the journey of life. None of us knows how much time we have in this world, and no matter when life ends, we always think it's too short, which is exactly why it's so important to enjoy special moments along the way and not just save them for someday in the future. When I was a prosecutor and also in my early years in a tech company, I worked with what felt like 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. In that process, I missed a lot of moments that I can't get back. And it doesn't have to be that way. In a book, Chasing Daylight by Eugene O'Kelly, former CEO of KPMG, he wrote about what truly matters: being purposeful, being present, and people and relationships matter most. After being diagnosed with brain cancer and given a few months to live, he reflected that he had spent more time with executives and CEOs than he had spent with his wife and family. Success is not only what you achieve, it is also how you live and who you are with along the way. Today is one of those special moments, so enjoy it fully with the people you care about. My last point is be kind. My final piece of advice is the simplest. Sometimes we think we cannot be kind and successful at the same time. While I was a law student, I almost quit because I thought you had to be cutthroat, aggressive, and ruthless to be successful. And that was not my character. I grew up with 4 brothers, so I learned very early how to negotiate. I knew I was not the bulldog type, so I thought I did not have what it took to be a lawyer. Then I went to work for a federal judge during my second year of law school, Judge Marshall. I sat in her courtroom every day. I learned from Judge Marshall that you can be kind, passionate, and effective without being a bully. I learned that kindness is not a weakness, but a strength. And from that experience, I decided to remain in law school and graduate. And now I'm happy to say I've been practicing for over 40 years. I have built my career on integrity, honesty, trust, and kindness. Let me leave you with one final quote from my most favorite author, Maya Angelou. I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. As you go through life, be kind. Congratulations, graduates. We wish you the best as you go out and change the world courageously, purposefully, and kindly. And please, call your parents and loved ones. Thank you.
谢谢。